Okay. So really quick, everybody, I kind of did prepare some information for the night real quick, and then I'm going to introduce our guests, and I'll make them a co-host so they can that way they can share their presentation.
Mm.
So tonight we're not, obviously RCIC Labs, our company, NSP, which is the parent company for RCIC has, is obviously been doing real estate, since I started in 2017. Obviously, in this is going to be totally interesting tonight, totally different. If you guys see what I've already put, kind of put out there already about it, this is really incredible opportunity. So I've invited SJ and James on from their company is really great. Langford is awesome, and they're going to be doing a presentation on it. So there's a lot of different things besides real estate. And I don't know, SJ, I can't remember how many years ago we connected at one point. It was like I was trying to look it up in my messenger, but we connected a few years ago talking about doing real estate, and his company at the time was doing, kind of like white label funding in a way. I don't know if that's the right word for it, SJ, but where they were providing capital to other to lenders and pretty much people that were like lending money out that weren't like they were kind of between a private money broker and a lender in a way. For those of you who don't understand that, so we were connected a couple of weeks ago, and this thing is pretty lucrative. So tonight, like I said, this isn't, everybody here is there's no point. You guys are all on board anyway. You're already in RCIC. There's a few people that might be checking this out that aren't. So just anybody know this really isn't like a sales webinar. And I'm going to turn most of this over to them, to SJ and James. So tonight it's what we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. And just kind of want to kind of run through a couple of things. It says 5:05, 5:15. I'm going to run through this in about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to introduce SJ and James and let them take over with their presentation. And then, like I said, I will, we've already built, I'll try to show, we'll try to jump over. Sometimes it's a little bit of trying to bridge over to Netlify to show you guys what I already built there. Anybody that you guys want that, it's already in the zip file. It's already in the RCIC Facebook group. And I have another Facebook group just for this. If anybody wants an invitation that's not in that, I'm going to be working on something in the next week or two. So you guys want to go ahead and start getting set up. They'll explain some of their process. Then I'll show what we're going to do because we're going to do a lot of training and stuff on this as far as trying to get you guys information. And just like we have a GPT for almost everything real estate, I'm building a GPT. We also have the Netlify, the app, and I'm going to put learning mode in there. So just like with real estate guys, you'll have a learning mode. So if you don't understand, you need to go in there and you need to learn something on the fly to end up getting one of these deals through our system so we can get it to SJ and James and they can underwrite it on their end exactly what they're going to explain tonight. That'll help you because there's a lot of stuff that's pretty fascinating in this. Here's the thing, guys, one deal can actually change everything for you. It can actually put a lot, significant amount of money in your pocket, but you can also use that kind of to create leverage for you. If you bring in the right deal and they get it done, you could actually end up getting, 6 figures, even 7 figures on a broker fee to basically that could help you a lot with some of your real estate deals. A lot of times you could probably set that in a trust account and show that to a lender as reserves. And it's gonna open up a lot of doors when you can say, hey, I need to borrow 200,000. What do you got? Oh, I got $1 million sitting in this account. A lot more lenders are going to talk to you guys. So what we're going to be doing is institutional capital. There's too many unqualified submissions, poor documentation, wrong capital sources, weak capital structures, no standardized readiness process. So we're not building another funding platform. We're building an operating system. And so tonight, in the app that I have on Netlify already, we just like everything else we have with RCIC, we have Capital Mine. We have a different version of Capital Passport that's loaded down with more of the family houses, the hedge funds, the pension fund endowment funds. Because not only do we have SJ and James that we can do this with other companies as well. So that opens the door to a lot more of the lenders and the institutional investors and the hedge funds and stuff that I've had with 19,000 contacts. So there's a stack architect, there's a pathway engine, there's a capital exchange, and a capital desk. Guys, you just want to go there and learn it, and I will send you the operator guide because it's like 15 pages, and you guys can study that. There's actually two versions. There's a PDF version. There's an online version on Netlify. That's going to teach you everything how to use everything on that. You guys can be up and running. We got a little bit of a break between 8th and 9th. I know July 4th, but you guys could be really up and running by then. It's pretty cool. Really, really cool. So we're gonna do. I'll show you guys the platform after that, after they're done, and then we're setting up a co-brokering network, guys. And you guys can also broker. I'm gonna do some put some of the real estate brokering stuff, and I've got about 20, 25 lenders that will allow you to broker for them, like I used to do. That's another way, like you can help people. You can connect. You can use Capital Passport and everything to connect other people, make some good money while you're building up your real estate business. It's just one more income stream along with like wholesaling and loaning EMD, loaning gap, things like that, where you guys can build up your knowledge while you're earning and you're building up capital. So obviously here you're building relationships and trust. You're learning all about the documentation process and capital readiness. So we're gonna have deal registration, there's fee protection, there's sponsor qualification, there's professional standards and long-term relationships. So you guys will be co-broking with us. We're gonna get everything. So when you guys bring a deal, you guys know before it even gets to these guys, they're going to let me see, I got a couple more people. They're waiting on this is the thing, I've got a couple people that are cool. So I have a couple more people coming on. So they are before it gets to SJ and James and their company, we want everything to know that hey, this deal is fundable. It's a deal, everything's good that's going to them because it makes it their job easier. It'll make them, we can take more deals to them. That's going to make because we can take a lot more deals. And I'm going to obviously let them talk about that. I'll let them talk about, they're going to talk about like what the limits are, things like that, what they've funded in the past, how they pay out. And then, like I said, Paul will be our CFO and paymaster. Jesse and Kevin and I will all have different roles within our company to help you guys. Well, just like we do with real estate. And so yeah, so let me do that real quick. I got a couple of people that just came in. Hey Rod, and I know Terry, you just came in too, or Scott. You guys all are in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make you guys co-hosts now. Then James in this too, so you guys are go. There you guys co-host, so you guys can share your presentation. Let me introduce guys, SJ, and let's see if I can get more people are coming in now. Like I said, we see this happen a lot of times. So I'm gonna give them real quick. Yeah, SJ and James, do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick?
Uh,
Yeah,
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
yeah. So I'll
Yes.
keep everybody muted until they have questions. So if they have questions in the chat, people, I will then present them to them when we have question and answer period. So if you kind of can work on the chat.
Okay, if you want to do me a favor and just put the presentation that I sent you on the
Yeah,
screen,
I don't know if I'm able to do that on mine. Are you able to share it from your system? I can
not really technically that
I
adapt
need
Zoom
permission
call.
to share it.
Oh, because I got it. I don't. Yeah, because I don't have it where I can send it. I can share it here from where you guys send it to me. So I don't have a way to share it from how you guys sent it to me.
The presentation.
Yeah, yeah. I looked at it, but I wouldn't be able to share it. So I was hoping you guys would be able to share it from your end.
Zoom will not let me share it.
Okay, let me see what I can do on that. Let me
Yeah,
see.
you're gonna have to set that up, Nate.
Well, I can't. I already checked how to set it up.
Screen share,
Yeah, I don't want to do that
co-host.
in my system. So I tried to do it as well. I don't know what's blocking it on their end. And I'm not like, yeah, I'm just trying to see what I can do. Let me see real quick. Let me do one thing while you guys really quick on introduce yourself. Let me try to get to it real quick. Get back to it, and I can try to get you guys in there. Yeah, if you guys just want to introduce
And
yourself.
I'll just kind of walk everybody through this,
Yeah, let me try to find it real quick, and then
and just go over the high levels. Basically, what we do, we're Langford Capital, Langford Metals. We have developed a critical infrastructure finance platform. where we're working to convert complex physical asset projects into bankable capital market opportunities. So, when we talk about critical infrastructure, we're talking about like manufacturing, supply chain, energy, utilities, mining, metals, electric generation, water, storage capacity, those type of industries. And yes, agriculture, manufacturing certainly, steps in there for a lot of areas. Um, you know, when we look at a deal, um, oops,
Yeah,
I don't know, your screen just came over my
yeah, I don't know why. I'm trying to get it over.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because I can't share that. It's denied me access to see your presentation. So I had to ask permission to share it.
I mean, what we're doing is we're providing, you know, each role that's in the transaction some guidance on what they need to do. So brokers, they get to understand a repeatable qualification standard, right? Developers, they kind of know or get to know a bankability checklist, right?
Yeah,
Um, and then, from our standpoint, our investors understand that we have a disciplined way to select positions, um, without basically inheriting every risk out on the market. Um, every project needs to be translated from a sponsored narrative, which is basically how all projects start, into an actual credit file where, we deal with authority, cash flow evidence, technical proof, collateral controls, and an exit path.
cool.
So, what we're really trying to frame here is finance as a tool to finance the future, right? So, the work that we're putting in is to structure trust around productive assets, mines, plants, grids, storage facilities, logistics, utilities, manufacturing capacity. Finance is really, really powerful when it's tied into productive capacity. So it's not just going to be, a mere asset inflationary activity, right? It's an actual capital platform that could, increases productivity, employment, tax base, possibly even exports, depending on, what we're dealing with. The
Exactly.
market moment, capital is definitely selective. Infrastructure needs aren't so selective. Um, right now, you know, globally, um, we're projecting growth for the requirements of infrastructure for the year of 2026 at 2.5%. Uh, there's also quite a lot of calculations out there showing that we're 18 to 22 trillion, depending on who you talk to and what fact you check, um, behind on our infrastructure investment. And this is a global perspective. Um, you know, so that leaves quite a hole, obviously, in the market, um, that, can be filled. So, what three audiences are we really talking to here? Brokers. They're basically the people that are going to help originate financeable files. Developers, they're the ones that, have the vision or have the operations, and they need a way to monetize that and access the financial markets. And then, of course, the people that want to invest, right? And typically, we're dealing with sovereign wealth, And those are the investors that we utilize to fund all of this.
Yeah, like you mentioned before in our previous conversation, you had 97 of them. So that's a pretty substantial amount of people of funds and stuff, people that can finance these deals. So it's pretty awesome, everyone. When you guys get on board, like I said, man, this is a great opportunity to, and you guys can, we'll explain it later. We'll do some stuff like with you guys separately, talk about, but I'll tell you guys, you could do this almost as passively or as actively as you want. Because I know everybody has, their real estate business, but you guys see a lot of opportunity in the way that I'm setting it up. And then I've already sent to SJ and James, and I'll continue to I'll run everything through to them so they can kind of, say, hey, this works, this is great so far. I think all the feedback you've given us is really positive. So that way we build something that you guys can go if you guys see opportunities out there, because you guys are in all these groups, these Facebook groups. And also keep in mind that in our the app that I built that I have at Netlify, it's using our Intel mine and our like our strip miner that we have that for real estate. So you guys could start going out there and using that to go out there and target social media and different aspects. It can go and start looking for these opportunities that people are talking about trying to get funded on, like mining and manufacturing and the AI data centers. And we'll do a special night one night because I'll try to dispel a lot of the myths about data centers. But there's a lot of opportunity out there, everyone, that you guys just, like I said, one deal could change.
I mean, data centers bring up a great topic. We basically want to give you guys a playbook, right? And we want to, interact with you on how to present a bankable file. First, screen it, right? You want to confirm the sector, so it's a data center. That's a really good sector. You want to then confirm jurisdiction, right? City, state, county. If it's in the United States, that's easy. We want to know about the sponsor, right? How much construction have they done? What type of deals do they do? What type of portfolio? We want to know about the assets, so the plan, the loan sizing, the status. So is this thing fully permitted, entitled, ready to go, right? And then we want to know their ask. We then move into step two, which is evidence, collect land title, permits, budget, pro forma, engineering, revenue, compliance items. Step three, we figure out all of the positions. So we separate senior, mezz, offtake, trade, equipment, equity needs, possibly an advanced buy, possibly JV, possibly LP. Okay. And then finally, four, it's delivered and submitted into credit committee. Okay. It takes discipline, so we don't want to quote terms before we've actually reviewed a full file. Um, you know, we're not going to actually market, any LTC until we've looked at it, right? And we don't want to hide anything that's missing. We want to convert them into a document request and risk note, right? The strongest broker is the one isn't the one who brings the most files. It's the one who brings the files that can survive an actual underwrite.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you guys have questions and stuff all that, I'll show you guys this is actually the dashboard for what I built for our capital intelligence network. So it's pretty cool. It's like all the other ones we have. Just, if you guys got questions on it, just feel free to ask them. If you need me, I'll unmute you. But yeah, you can register the deal here. You can put a new submission in. It's everything. It's going to help you monitor everything. Keep in mind, these are yours. So once you download them, you host them on Netlify and, tie into Anthropic API. This thing will fire away, guys. You go into capital mode. Yeah.
Very importantly, guys, just to kind of leave you with this, the future needs bankable builders, right? Qualified critical infrastructure not only requires ambition, but capital. And capital moves when ambition is converted into evidence, structure, legal certainty, operating discipline, and repayment logic.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions for him? I mean, this is huge. I mean, so I don't know if you want to mention, on that one deal, guys, if you want to mention what you paid that one broker for that deal and what the limits, if you want to kind of tell them what you guys can do up to and so they know that they can make,
That's really, really dependent, Nate. I mean,
I know,
get
but I'm kind of
into,
like, yeah, hey, this is really lucrative because some of these people want to get into,
like most of our projects here, we're going to talk about 10 million to 500 million. Obviously, when you get into some of the larger projects that are like really critical supply chain, ports, or let's say energy plants, or like some severely big solar developments, AI data centers, you're going to see requests right now into the billions of dollars. Just a few of the data centers that we've looked at recently, basically two very large centers located U.S. domestically, right around $31 billion in total funding between the two, with clients already kind of leasing bandwidth and utilization. So we can go higher for the right project. Obviously, that might require syndication models. It might require different positions, etc. But the larger projects are definitely out there, right now, guys. We just have to be intelligent on how we quantify and qualify the data. There is no magic check writer. Everything basically has to make sense, right? And that's the advantage that we give to you is we can take, a scenario and know pretty quickly whether it's going to make sense or not, and, give you a pathway to, you know, close of escrow. Um, so I can say we're probably not the easiest people to deal with, but we're probably some of the most direct, where you're going to leave knowing exactly what we need to do next.
exactly. And that's the good thing is I think is if we do this, we'll probably be adding a Zoom maybe every two other week because we do two a week. And I think guys, everyone that's in the group is that we'll continue to invite SJ and James back when they're available. Obviously, they got a lot of stuff going on, but we're gonna pretty much also just look on the real estate, and obviously that's going to be important still on what we're gonna do. But we're gonna you've got the system I was just showing you guys some of the features in the operator guide and the dashboard, and there's a whole system to train you guys. I'm putting the whole training platform together, and you guys will actually just be able to have learning mode like real estate mode, which is awesome. It's that's going to help you guys a lot. Learn this, and you can be passive, meaning you guys are out there, you just hear about a group, and you go start. You can make contact and do however you want to do it, contingency or whatever, to help somebody get into the portal that I just showed you guys. When you go through there, then we'll have two different ways, and we'll come up with two different ways of, if you guys just bring a deal to us and we do all the work, or if you guys do a lot of the work and all that. We want to make everything, get everything to SJ and James and their company, like where it's literally, we know this deal is a good deal. These are good sponsors. They qualify. You guys could do one deal that could be significant, and like you were just talking about, you pretty much, it's really helpful. You can do a lot of smaller deals. So, like I said, you can be as passive or active as you want. We're obviously opening this up to you guys first because this is something we all have an interest in as well. And I'll just kind of show you, since one of the things I don't know, so just this, James, for you guys' information, just FYI, this is our core. This is what we use all the time. Basically in GPT, obviously I have the stuff on Netlify, but we just set up this whole thing with like in an RCIC mode. So I'll kind of just show you guys this for you guys, just your own knowledge, that we have our different modes for the real estate thing. And I'm going to set up modes in the GPT for everybody to learn, just like that for this, just like I was showing with the Netlify, which is the app. But one of the most important ones we do is we have learning mode. So people can, if they want to learn about mining or they want to learn about like data centers, and all that, they can actually, at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can go on and go to learning mode. They'll be able to do that within the next week to 2 weeks. They'll be able to do that here for everything we do here. I'm going to train it and you guys can go in and, here in real estate, it's talking about teach me how DSCR works, explain wholesaling for beginner to advanced, build me a 7-day plan. This is all the stuff we talk about, obviously, in core. I'm just really kind of showing SJ and James so they kind of know what I'm going to be trying to do to help you guys. Because if I help you guys are going to bring deals they're going to be fundable, and that helps them. So I want to make sure that you guys have plenty to access. And meaning that if we talk about passive, where you guys aren't as active, like maybe you are in real estate, where you're having to underwrite, find deals, get all the, everything. Here, it's like if you may just want to have one deal, it may come down 6 months from now, a year from now. Other people may have smaller deals. When you bring a deal, we want you to, you can go in here and you'll be able to learn about it. You'll be able to learn how to get a deal to them. I'll be, as we learn and we work with them, build a relationship, I'll be pumping a lot of information on how you can, train yourself so you can train potential clients and people that you bring to them so that we're just a better operation and we can bring a lot more qualified sponsors and qualified deals to them. So that's going to be really, really exciting to be able to do this and put a lot of stuff together. And you guys know I'm kind of, at this point, it's RCIC. There's a lot of stuff I'm tweaking and stuff back and forth trying to help you guys, but we're at the point now where we really only got like one more thing that I really do have to build from scratch. And that's the broker program, and it's going to be / real estate and this. So it's going to be kind of all in one. But like I said, this is really going to be something that's going to hopefully energize you guys, because you can go up there. I mean, it's talking 31 billion. I mean, you go up to, that's you can probably get a pretty good broker fee for that. But I mean, a lot of these small ones over 10 million, there's nothing to, shake a stick at it, getting 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, things like that. The small ones add up. And they can help you with real estate, because like I was saying, you can, that's income and cash flow to help you with your real estate business. So think about this. It's just another avenue, a significant and serious one where you can really participate in it. What I have, the website, the Facebook I started called the infrastructure economy. That's what it is. Everything's building. All this infrastructure you guys hear about. It's all building, all this, data, AI, all the data centers. And like I said, we'll just, if you have something, against it or something, hopefully I can try to change your mind with how we're going to demystify it. But, obviously if there's something that you like and there's something you don't, it's up to you. It's your own thing. We're not going to, you guys didn't know us, but, everybody here is in RCIC. So you guys know everything. So yeah. And let me just get a couple of questions real quick that have been asked for you. So Neil's asking about agriculture and things like that. What do you think about that, SJ? Agriculture? Is there any opportunity in that?
Sure. I mean, agriculturally, there's definitely critical infrastructure to that. It just, really depends on sizing. And what we're doing. I mean, certain components of U.S. agriculture are kind of full up right now. But when you get into a little bit more of like the niche organic models, things like that, maybe growing something that isn't growing here now. Beef is huge. I mean, for some reason, egg prices are just out of line. So obviously there's some, you know, inroads into it. I think domestically, there's a lot of compliance to it, especially if you're going to get, certified organic. If you don't, I think that's still fine. We could get into the deal. But we're really, looking for something that's, going to be more unique than, let's say, like just a corn farm, unless we're going to have like an ethanol plant tied into it or something.
Yeah. And then the other question I have myself is obviously on the presentation. I do want them to see it. So I did have to ask, I get permission. I don't know if that goes back to you to access it. I do want to find a way to get it to the people in our group that are interested in this so they can see your presentation. So I'll just work on that with you
Please
guys.
do. I mean, I just am unaware how to.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I just went on here because I looked right before and I couldn't see it earlier and I didn't know if you, then I figured maybe you guys would be able to share it if you, then let's just figure that out in the next, like I'll get a hold of you tomorrow and we'll
I
try
don't
to
know. I'm
figure it.
looking on the screen and nothing's happening. So
Yeah, and guys, we can get you in all their links as well. Because I believe in being open and transparent, and if you're co-programming with us, I want you guys to know, to be able to know them and know what they're, everything, because that just helps you guys, more. And if you guys don't want to, you just want to stick to real estate, that's fine. Like I said, we wanted to introduce this to you because you guys can, you guys are out there scouring for all your real estate stuff. You guys are going to come across stuff all the time. Most of
Mines
it,
are a great play right now, US domestically,
yeah,
right? Like the US is metal and mineral rich. I still think the oil markets, oil, natural gas long term. I think a lot of your biofuels. I also see opportunities with Trump deregulating environmentally, you know, for even coal power plants, you know. So there's some opportunities right now, US domestically, that I'm sure people are advertising that they're looking for financing on. When you get into mines, we can get really creative with the capital stack. I think the most important thing, though, is just realizing, we need a real file. It has to have the technicals, the engineerings. Mining is not necessarily just a claim, right? It is a, a full business where, you're utilizing multitudes of equipment and different techniques of extraction and millage. So it is very technical files, but I still highly suggest, I think that's a very profitable venture with commodity prices continuing to uh, escalate. Um, Water resources, things like that. I think those are very profitable ventures right now. Definitely things that are critical towards the supply chain, even agriculturally. I think those are all good plays.
we got strategic
Right.
metals, guys. And we were, we loaded up on that stuff a few years ago. As many of you guys remember, we were doing what Jesse's still doing, and Kevin still talks to him as Osmium. And there's a lot of other strategic metals out there, guys, that are just really super lucrative. There's companies that were like, it's like $100,000 to buy a bucket. A bucket doesn't mean it's a 5 gallon bucket. It's a bucket, just the term. And so there's a lot of opportunity out there. And if you guys want to talk about too and how you can prep a deal to get to them, reach out to Jesse. I don't know, Jesse, do you want to real quick talk, just without specifics, kind of just say all the stuff you've had to get from your client to get to SJ? If you want to mention that real quick. You guys, Jesse's working on the deal with them right now.
Yeah, I brought a couple things to the table. But the project owner wasn't ready. So there's more kind of coming in the pipeline, but it's a document gathering. Um, it's a little bit of a waiting game. Some people are ready and some people aren't.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, guys, out there when you get into mining, like 43 101s. There's a lot of stuff, but we have a pretty good grasp on that stuff because we were going through that. So we can get, and I'm putting that all into that's all going to be in the portal. So it'll go through and it'll actually learning mode will teach you all this stuff. So you're not just going to have to depend on, hey, getting a hold of us at 2 o'clock in the morning when you meet somebody on, hey, this deal looks really good. Now you need, you want to know what a 43 101 is and what it looks like. We'll be able to get that to them. So you guys just are smarter. If anything, even if you pass and maybe get one deal it's a year from now, you're going to learn about a lot of stuff that's important. Everything we're doing right now that we're talking about tonight is critical. I mean, literally strategic, and the government's into it. And if the government's spending a ton of money out there in sovereign wealth funds, if you guys know what they are, they're huge. And the U.S. is talking about building one right now, and Singapore has one. Saudi Arabia's got probably the biggest sovereign wealth fund out there in the world. A lot of the Middle East countries have those. So there's a lot of opportunity out there to get funded by them, family offices and hedge funds, things like that. We got all the pension fund and endowment funds. We're over 19,000 contacts. If anybody wants, you guys just hear me talk about the 1,382 that we have.
Saudi is
Yeah.
Saudi's very diversified with its sovereign funds. So there's a few different countries, out there. I mean, obviously Europe is very, wealth centered. London, is very wealth centered. Um, those areas still have, uber concentration of, sovereign wealth representation. So, the interesting thing is, we basically bring it into, the US market, um, from overseas. So it's technically overseas investment, dollars that are coming through. But it's very aggressive money. What I'll say is, especially when you start getting into like the advanced buys, mine owners can take advantage of that. That becomes a recapitalization, OpEx equipment, type deal without payments, right?
Yeah,
And that's huge in today's market, right? Like when you can, tap, 10, 20, $30 million, for equipment or possibly even more, depending on, how many advanced buys we can pull off. But those are, eh, I think if everybody could get a chance, maybe check out langfordmetals.com. That's a real good site to explain what we do in the mining world.
yeah,
And, that goes all the way from exploration JVs to advanced buys to senior positions to MES.
yeah.
Um,
So I just put there, and I read their email. So actually, I do want to ask because I did see real estate stuff on your capital site. Are you still doing anything with real estate? Because since
um, well, just real selective right now, Nate. I mean, we're into a couple of really nice Class A build to rents. These will probably convert out to like owner occupied when the rates go down, and people can get financed for them. A Class A marina development with a hospitality and retail component. But super uber limited right now. We've kind of pulled back, from the residential markets. I mean, obviously everybody sees the writing on the wall, right? Like there's going to be some big problems there and some price declines.
I just foresaw because when I was on your when you sent me your website to look at, I said they're in real estate. So if I do this meeting and everybody starts going to your website, they're going to start
Yeah,
going back.
we're gonna redesign to
Yeah,
critical infrastructure. This is something we looked into it last year, and then, by January we were kind of like, okay, I think it's time. And obviously when we're in the US domestic markets, we kind of play bridge, right? So most of our notes are like onesie twosies. So our exit's never long. We just don't originate much more. Definitely looking for good deals though, right?
yeah,
Hospitality plays, subdivision developments, workforce housing. Um, it's just, is it going to work in this market? I think that's the real question. Is it going to DSCR? We can't make up numbers. We use a legitimate AMC. Um,
yeah,
so to me, it's been a qualification crisis for quite some time since rates have kind of tipped up. And it's put a lot of upward pressure on capitalization rates commercially. I mean, obviously, everybody's hearing about the office defaults right now. So, that's kind of a former safe space, right? That's not so safe anymore. Um, Definitely one of the four major food groups that a lot of people just aren't touching. So, we really looked at, critical infrastructure was a way to move out of the way to let all of these assets reprice. And that's kind of what I think a lot of your players are doing right now.
yeah. I just want to ask that because, like I said, I'm thinking your websites are going to be hitting me back. Well, can I send this deal to them?
Yeah,
Because
we'll take a look at anything. I mean, we have, the ability to still move domestically. I mean, definitely take a look at anything, but our real main focus and like what we're really working on is a lot of these mines right now. Critical metals, critical minerals, construction metals, construction minerals. Those are just big, you know, right now. And a lot of these mines need money to expand. And they also have inventory that they don't know who to sell to. And the market's like vibrant for
What?
sales.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important. Make sure we're still on. I think we lost them. Yeah, looks like they lost them. Well, quick while they try to reconnect with us real quick. Anybody else? SJ's still on here. What do you guys? Anybody else have any questions? I can unmute people if anybody wants to ask them any questions. But like I said, guys, this is a phenomenal opportunity in this space. And like I said, everything we're talking about is critical and strategic. So it exists. It's just going to get more. There's going to be more requirements for it. So that's just meaning you guys have something long term that you can probably help yourself with, in real estate. That's why I really was excited about it for you guys. Was like, here's a good way to go out there. You go out there and make one of these, big deals. It goes through, you get paid your broker fee, and then you basically, man, you got money for your real estate deals. And you don't have to don't go, you still use OPM, but use it as reserves and use part of it or something like that. But you guys can actually build up quite a nest egg doing these some of this alternative stuff. Like I said, you can get as passive, you just casual, like almost like a bird dog. Yeah, it comes up, or you could be active. Anywhere in the middle works for us. I mean, basically we'll be there every step of the way, just like we are real estate. So I'm pretty happy with that. Being able to offer that to you guys. Let's see, there's a few more. Oh yeah, they're cool. I think you just got back in here. So yeah, so anybody wants to get set up, let me know, and I'll get you guys rocking and rolling. I'll get you guys. We have the zip file, so you guys can at least go start setting it up. And just to kind of let you guys know, because a lot of people are asking, I'll cover it now. If you connect the app that we have for this, and then RCIC Deal Desk, and you use Netlify, you'll meet the criteria for that $20 a month plan. But it's unlimited, guys. You think about I have about 50 apps on there now. So it's a pretty good deal. Then you got Anthropic with API, and that'll, just like we're talking about mining, it'll strip mine. It'll start going out there and finding these opportunities, and you can do that passively. You can just go in there and program it, get a buy box for metals, or what you're going to send to SJ's company to Langford. What you guys are going to do, set up your buy box for that, and use learning mode, and then just basically have the AI go and try to find some opportunities for you. Let's use it because it'll dig deep. Yeah, no pun intended, actually. This is just incredible. A lot of the resources that we've been using to try to help you guys build your real estate.
Well, and I just want to point out, I mean, even if you guys act as like marketing referral agents, whatever, the numbers in critical infrastructure, mining, oil and gas are pretty big. You could always just slap everybody onto a conference call and learn, from doing the deal itself. Right. So I think that's always kind of the easiest way is to just do it. Um, my opinion is there's just a ton of opportunity right now there on, LinkedIn and on Facebook and some of these other people, other uh social media sources where, you know, we could all pick up a lot of business, right? Like everybody can make a lot of money. I mean, even a half point on some of these deals is just, a large sum of money. They do take more, time to close. There is some definite investment that goes into that. So, these aren't the type of things that are going to go overnight, but when they do go, everybody's getting a paycheck, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then guys, also these aren't these like what you guys all see in real estate. Hey, can you do zero down? No, they have to have money to invest. They have to have skin in the game. and experienced sponsors. Yeah, you should. What's up, buddy? See you on
Now, offtake agreements and advanced buy agreements, those are like 21 to 30-day closers. So, if you find like a mine or something that's producing that, they have excess materials or tailings or something that they want to go ahead and get rid of, that's perfect. It's perfect for you, it's perfect for us. Let's all work together on that one. And we'll rush it to the table as quickly as possible. Now they still have to have, their geotechnicals that go along with that. But, just remember if they don't have them, we still, we know enough to walk them through what it's going to take to get it. So if there's a deal there, it can close. It just might take a little bit longer and they might just, have to pay for some third party reports.
because it's pretty. Like I said, there's some work to getting the deal closed. But if you guys, it's like real estate. You just got to be a little bit more, learn a few more things like the 43-101s and the different things that the governments require to do any kind of extraction. I mean, there's all kinds of permits and stuff, but like you're saying, dude, if there's mines, if there's businesses that are
Well,
already
title, especially in mining, is a little bit more complex because you're going into like mineral rights, water rights,
yeah,
surface rights, subsurface rights, those type of overlays. So title's a little more complex. We usually start title out with an attorney opinion letter that's going to give us guidance on what we need to do or cure, right? So that's usually our first step, before we go to full blown marked up commitment, right? If the attorney points out something that just isn't curable or mitigatable, then we need to stop right there. We call that kind of gate zero, right? Especially when it's mining, because if we don't have control, right, we won't be able to achieve what is referred to as a clean stream. And the stream is, let's say, the ore or millage product, but to us, that's really, a financing or revenue stream.
It's really, really, really hard to scam this system. And with as thorough as this is, you can be very, very assured that what you're getting into is going to end up being complete as long as the people dealing are up front with you in the first place. But it doesn't take very long to figure out that they're not. So that's one thing that you can be assured of, and especially in today's world, is that these guys know what they're doing, and the scammers haven't got a chance in this thing.
yeah. This is as solid as. I mean, you guys can do this and get a couple of these small deals, do like send detailing, things like that. You use the learning mode. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on what I'm doing to build it over the next. We got a little break for July 4th and all that. I'm gonna spend a little time this weekend working on it and doing the training and stuff and building the GPT and then having a training thing. Since you guys are used to the GPT for core anyway, I'll probably have it ready for that first, and then we'll build an app to it. But guys, it's going to teach. We're going to put a lot of stuff in there. Is what I'm going to tell you. What I'm going to be telling SJ and James is, hey, when it comes through any of our people, it's going to be solid when it gets to them. We want to have it almost like as ready to go as possible. Obviously, he's saying that and there's some time involved, obviously with getting the financing and all that stuff on their end. But if we take quality deals to them, that's going to make a lot of things happen.
But
Yeah.
let's kind of unpack that, Nate, because we're
Yeah.
not just touching a senior here.
Yeah.
We're usually going into multiple layers of the capital stack that could involve, a royalty, a COLA agreement, offtake or advanced buy, offtake financing agreement, advanced buy agreement. All those can go higher into the capital stack to help achieve the overall financing need. And that works purchase or acquisition. It really just depends on the operational status of the business, right? And where your geotechnicals are at. And that's for both mining, oil and gas, and biofuels.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna put a lot of learning stuff in their learning mode, so they can go in there and they can, like I said, we tell everybody at 2 o'clock in the morning when something comes up, you can get an answer for it. And that's a good thing. I think I'm a big believer in that. Is trying to empower people to get the answer, get the right answer, and then that just makes them much more of a quality, someone to go out there and find these deals that is better, that they know what to look for, and you can just like skip over because all of us, we're all used to it. And you can ask Jesse and Kevin. We've dealt with a lot of people when we try to do strategic metals before, and even with real estate, where people are coming to us like, hey, there's they're in Africa or somewhere, there's a scam, or Guyana or somewhere. It's like, you guys know all about the Nigerian prince, right?
Well, and I mean, let me just caveat this too, Nate. We're very familiar with African jurisdictions.
Yeah.
There's a ton of honest people there.
Oh,
Africa
no,
is actually very well organized when it comes to like, their mining. So, there's very few jurisdictions there where the paperwork isn't going to match the request, right? So if they don't have the proper paperwork in order, everybody should be able to quickly detect if a deal's bad, you know. And we're completely friendly with, large swaths of Africa, whether it be North Africa, South Africa, West Africa. We'll definitely take a look at deals in there, work with sponsors, work with countries, to help facilitate any of their needs. I think that's a real growth market right along with South America right now, especially as it comes to, supply chain logistics, critical minerals, construction metals, critical metals. Those are all real needs in Africa and South America right now. So, they can increase their economy domestically without really even needing to export, just simply increasing their supply, right? Demand really dictates at this point an increase in the supply. So, huge opportunities there. If you guys find deals there, obviously we don't go into every jurisdiction, but we certainly want to take a look at it. And I can get back to you usually within a day on whether we could go into that jurisdiction or not. And then what we're going to need, what type of documents, and who we have to speak to in the government.
yeah. So it's pretty incredible, guys. There's a lot of opportunity in this. And like I said, we're just touching the surface tonight. Like, so if you're interested, like I said, in expanding beyond real estate, like I said, yeah, just let me know and I'll make sure you guys have the, so at least you can look at all the stuff that I've already prepared for you. And then we'll get you, we'll obviously get you their links, so you can go to their websites and learn everything about the company and what their, so that way you guys are fully eligible. We're totally going to be, like I said, transparent. We want you guys to, if you like this opportunity, it's going to help you guys with real estate. It's going to help you guys with everything else. So I'm really excited about it. It kind of is one of those things like when I started working with AI 2 years ago, and look where all you guys are at with that now. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're going to be able to do a lot of good stuff and do this right and get this up to the ground, from the start. So it's not like having to go into, there's not any gurus
Do you
out there
think,
shouting
Nate,
about
that maybe we could open it up to the group and see if they have any questions about critical infrastructure financing, how we look at the capital stack, basically layer it based upon risk, anything like that. I'd love to basically answer any of the group's questions or help,
Yeah,
help them to understand
yeah, we'll have it, and
what we're doing.
I'll have it on YouTube tomorrow, and also we'll get them this recording. Everybody in our group can get it. So that answers your questions. So some of you, let me try to do it. Let's see if I can try to bring people off of mute. Otherwise, I can try to ask a few of the questions. Obviously, yes, James is asking, the other James, our James is asking about putting term sheets together. Yeah, we can get you all that stuff that they've already sent to us. And if we need more stuff, and we'll make sure that they get it. They've been, SJ is sending me stuff the day after I talked to them a couple weeks ago. So you guys know we'll be able to get you everything on like terms and, a lot of stuff, like I said, and I'll be pumping a lot of stuff into learning mode. So you guys can actually then be able to access a lot of stuff. That'll help you as well. Yeah.
Most of the situations that you guys are going to be dealing with, it's not like they have a standard term sheet. It's basically on a case by case basis, getting down to what all is going to be involved. But what they're going to do is they're going to work with you on that as you go through it. So it's a good way to learn this. But again, some of the stuff regarding term sheets really doesn't apply to this kind of funding.
Yeah, and then the other question, Neil has another question about how about a gold claim if there's a minimum size on a claim? I don't know if you can answer that one.
Okay, well, that's really going to depend on the type of claim and how you're going to extract it. So, if it's an open pit, obviously that requires, a lot of a sizable holding. I usually tell people probably a couple 100 acres is gonna be good. The majority of ones that we really get interested in are like 1,000 acres plus, and then that can go up to kilometers, right? The biggest one that we're looking at right now is like 68 kilometers worth of a claim. So, you know, really, I think 1,000 acres, you're probably going to see your most bang for your buck and get your most interest. It really has to do with the area, the history of the area, and the topography within the claim, right? So a geologist is going to be able to guide you based upon the topography. So kind of the layout, how it rolls. Is there hills? Is there certain outcroppings that may be visible, right? These things might be visible.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? I mean, I'm trying to come up with a thing. If anybody wants to, ask, or I can run everybody through real quick and just kind of introduce everybody. Kind of introduce. Let me do that just so kind of who some of our people are. I'll just kind of run through a few of them and kind of. Yeah, let me see. James, do you want to real quick? Let me try to unmute you. I'm just going to mute if you like all you guys in order, just like we normally do. So, James, do you want to introduce yourself to Esther? And then I'll just go to next after that. I don't know if they, so I'll try to ask you on mute. So, I don't know why they're not unmuting. So, yeah, guys, it's a pretty incredible opportunity. And then Rod and Brandon are on from Michigan.
I'm going to unmute this Neil Peterson. I think he has a question or comment.
Neil. Yeah, if you want to. Oh, yeah, I gave you a co-host. Never mind. That's why I'm not able to unmute him.
Okay, here
You still got a little feedback, Neil.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that out?
Yeah, turn off one of your devices. That's the best way to fix it.
Let me see which one to log out of.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm okay now?
No.
Hold on.
Hold for a second. Just turn off, whatever one you don't need. If you have one that you're logged in on, the one that you're main.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was a couple different avenues. I'm looking at progressive agriculture methods, aeroponics growing and vegetables and stuff, and then the raging market with lion's mane mushrooms and healthy culinary type mushrooms. There's a guy came up with a system of equipment, and his equipment comes with a contract to buy mushrooms back from you, so product from you. Do any kind of funding on that kind of stuff? Or?
I'm sure. I mean, we'll definitely look at the agricultural markets. Very recently, we looked at a company out of South America. They were looking at a myriad of food products. So I think, um, we could definitely consider deals like that. Um, something agriculturally, sizing wise, US domestic, we're probably going to want to see something north of at least 10 million. Sweet spot for us though is probably going to be right around, that 100 to let's say 300 million going into agriculture. Going to probably want at least a few thousand acres, so more of like a corporate, setup or some type of processing facility um
Nice.
component part of that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Let me see if we got anybody else wants to talk. Willie, this would be great for you. Willie's he's a broker already for private money and stuff. So are you at work, Willie? You're at your other
I'm
job?
sorry, someone's asking a question, Nate. Could we possibly unmute them and allow them to
Well, I'm trying to
chat
unmute
with
him, yeah. I don't know why it's not unmuting or what. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Hi, this is for me.
Yeah,
Oh, how you doing, everybody?
good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good
I'm good. This
good
is
evening.
Yeah.
good evening. Good evening. And I apologize for joining late. I had another meeting running late. So I definitely want to get up to speed and appreciate the time. Wanted to find out, do you guys finance agriculture and or food or agro processing? I'm working on a project in West Africa. I actually do have land under lease, sizable land that's under lease, and wanted to see if this is something that you would look at. And just to kind of your point earlier, in terms of Africa and it being a big growth market, yeah, our plan is to kind of grow, process, and then sell in the market, not necessarily export, but to sell there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's exactly what needs to be done right now, right? There's a ton of demand, continent wide, right? That can be met. So that, and cuts down on hydrocarbon, cuts down on import dependency. That's really great. We would definitely consider something in, West Africa. Give me an idea on, what it entails. I mean, are we dealing with just like farm fields, or are we kind of going into, processing facilities? Give me a direction, and then give me an idea on loan sizing.
Yeah, so it's looking at farm fields, right? What we were looking at was doing sugar. So setting up, kind of doing a reverse integration, right? Where we would set up a sugar refinery, import, and then at the same time build out we kind of do it in reverse, right? So we'd import from Brazil, refine the sugar, sell it throughout the region. At the same time, we'd set up and you grow sugarcane, mill it, and then at some point it'd be a fully integrated model. And so Nigeria did the same thing and had a lot of success. And
Yeah,
most of the
we're willing
sugar
to take a
here.
look at that. And I mean, just,
Yeah.
just some important considerations, right, when you're putting this together. Offtake agreements are powerful, right? So if you have customers or can develop a customer base before you bought or sold a grain of sugar, that becomes really powerful, right? Those are revenue streams that, once we kind of deal with some of the gating issues like control and authority, et cetera, those become revenue streams that are monetizable and financeable. That can help you with any equity considerations that the senior won't cover. Okay.
Okay.
You know, to get into, something like that, I mean, what are we talking on loan sizing right now?
It's going to be anywhere from 60 to 80 million.
Oh,
Let's say 60 to
that's
100
good.
million.
Yeah, Yeah, that's good. Definitely would consider that. You know, uh, we would probably have to look at, a few various methodologies, even from royalties, JV, LP equity, mezz financing or prefec, then of course like a senior position. Typically we're going to want to put some money out there long term. So, especially in a project like this where we're going to be like developing the fields, growing it, yet still importing and making money, we're probably going to want a lockout period till at least you stabilize and, you're getting cash out of those crops. So like a 5, 7, or 10-year product, we're usually interest only. Obviously, like advanced buys, which you would handle, intercontinentally there. You wouldn't probably need us to step in and help you with any of that. But we could certainly finance like any of your offtake agreements to help push the equity stack up. We could build in a royalty to kind of help with the equity stack, pay for closing costs, cover like an interest reserve until we hit stabilization or at least a break even. Um, you know,
Oh, wow.
so
Oh,
we have a myriad of ways of approaching it. Um, you know, so I think it could be something interesting to kick around and talk about. Jurisdictionally, Africa really isn't too complex. It's really just more of a consular system. We usually wait on like any documents that need to be certified, translated until the very end, right? Where we've basically completed all our work. We have our finalized documents. Now we can certify the translations. So, um, I think those are just some things to kind of tell you about. We do have history in Africa, obviously North Africa, and then also in South Africa. So, we already have opened the doors, to doing business out there. We're certainly looking for more opportunities to evaluate.
oh, good. Okay, that'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, this is in West Africa, which is actually the fastest growing region in the world. I'm sure you guys know that.
No, yeah,
And
we're very, very familiar. Our North African, clients are actually in transportation, and they're in manufacturing. So, they're domesticating the supply chain there. South African is all construction materials.
okay, okay, nice, nice.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, that'd be great. I can I guess I'll have. I guess you guys would give us the information how to reach out and how to submit anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
Okay,
course. And you can always contact Nate through
okay,
the RCIC network, and
perfect.
can kind of put us together there. That way we can just keep it organized as to where the business is coming from to make sure that, obviously we want to get Nate compensated for anything that comes from like his group, right? So,
Absolutely,
um,
absolutely.
and
yeah.
everything we haven't did because of agriculture and stuff, definitely I'll reach out to you on that, and I'll reach out to
Thank
Eric
you.
on that, just so we can kind of implement it into what we're doing with our portal thing, just so that way you guys have a place to go to start the process and to hopefully try to expedite it. But yeah, definitely I'll reach out to you anyway, because I know we've been
Okay.
talking back and forth about getting into the group anyway.
Yeah, and thanks again for your time this evening, and thanks for hosting this, Nate. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
appreciate it. I'll
Thanks,
reach
guys.
out to you in the morning. Let me
Okay.
one more person try to get one more. Matt, are you let me introduce Matt real quick if he's able to come on. Matt's been in our group for about 5 or 6 years. Or he just oh there you go. Hey
Hey, how's
Matt,
it going, Nate?
yeah, so SJ, this is Matt Moreland. He's been with us since 2019 and 20. He's got an interesting. He just went through a course on how to become a U.S. government contractor. Bidding through like the jobs, the websites and stuff that the government has. So I don't know, Matt, if you got any questions about for them about anything that maybe they could help you with what you're pursuing there. Because obviously doing contracting with the US government's lucrative and they pay.
Okay, so U.S. government contracting, of course, it's very feasible as to a multitude of finance methods. Just a couple of tips up front. JV with someone who has at least 3 years experience in a similar field that you're looking to contract with the government. It's really going to help if they have prior governmental contract experience. It
Yeah.
is a closed bid system, so you're not going to necessarily know if you get awarded until I think they have at least like 3 or 5 bids on file, and they
Yeah.
go with, basically the one they have the most confidence with. That's the lowest. U.S. government's the biggest, consumer and buyer in the world, so yeah, probably can't go wrong with that one, fellas. It all depends on um, what we're trying to sell to them, or how we're trying to facilitate it. But even inventory finance, we could help you guys facilitate as long as it's sizable enough.
Yeah, Matt went through Matt, which I forget you mentioned this a couple of times. I'm sorry, I forgot. The university that you went to for the program for this.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I do have two questions after, but I went to Villanova University. It has a course on government contract management, and it teaches you the how to prepare the full life cycle of a government contract or solicitation, how to do the due diligence beforehand to understand what the government is asking, because like you said, like the government solicitation, it's by law, it's codified. So um, it's closed bid. And if you prepare, like you said, correctly, staying compliant and everything like that, you're able to potentially have a shot. Um, I for knowing all that, I don't have like the CMMC clearance to do the higher end contracts, but the professor at the class that I took was a previous contracting officer on the government side, and I had told her my side. I'm mostly looking for, managing the compliance, administration, the correspondence, quality oversight of the contract, and subcontract the main scope of work out to a subcontractor. And she said that is potential that can work so long as I stay within the legal limit of subcontracting per a certain law, and people can do that. So. If it is possible, I'm not sure there is certain clearances. I believe it's like 250,000 and below, but I think there is a potential to go after a million, or $1 million plus contracts, so long as I stay compliant and, like you said, potentially JV with somebody that has the experience. But I'm trying to create an app that helps make sure that that prime contractor stays compliant, and it has a step system that helps with that. I created a security system that allows nobody to be able to see what you're working on. Because when you get to that higher levels of government contracting, there are certain requirements that you need, that nobody can see the work that you're doing on that contract. And if I can, the more I build on my app, the more it will have the prime catcher to be able to be compliant for that, and all the other compliances. And then I apologize for being late. I didn't get to hear, but I'm in Santa Barbara County, and I have seen some like land that's potentially can be used for agriculture available. Um, did you want people that send you deals to be like fully control the process of the work, or could they be that transactional coordinator or potential wholesaler to the land?
No, that's fine. I mean, just, just realize we're not really a buyer for agricultural deals. We'll certainly lend, but we need someone to come in and be the borrower and the sponsor. Like mining deals, though, if you found something for sale there, we can act as a buyer. So, certainly if you did, run into like a mining deal that was for sale, um, eh, you know, we could work something out.
Yeah, yeah, man. What's your other question? You said
Um, for if we are potentially able to get confirmed to or get awarded a contract, would you be able to help with funding if that is needed? Mostly if through the process that I'm going after, it's based on partnering with a subcontractor that agrees with net 30. But in certain contracts, you are able to get funding to cover that first payment if the government is a little bit late, and then pay the borrowee
Okay, so the government
interest.
is usually paying 90 days trailing, right? That's
Yeah.
usually the way it works with the federal government. And I'm not saying that's good or I'm not saying that's bad, but usually it's 90 days trailing when the government pays. Um, as to like Langford doing it, sure, as long as, the deal would be sizable enough. If it's not sizable enough, then basically what you're looking for is mobilization financing, right? And that's where you're doing contract on contract financing. So there are people out there that specialize in mobilization financing, and they can go all the way down to maybe 50, 100 grand, and then all the way up to, their posted um, amounts. Um, but it's what you're looking for is called mobilization financing.
yeah,
Thank
I'd
you.
also like to look into that as well. If you, because that's, obviously since we talked about contracting a lot, yeah, we'll figure it out. And that's building a, like you said, he's building an app for this kind of to help, to help people with contracting. And it's obviously the U.S. government pays, even if they're late, they still are still solid to
Well,
do business.
yeah, they're gonna pay, guys. So that's not the issue. The
Yeah,
issue here is just usually when the check arrives and it just
yeah,
takes some time to cut the check, right? In their systems, but usually it's about 90 days when you deal with that type of system. From what we've seen. And I mean, of course, there's probably examples of it, going quicker. There are certain financing mechanisms that you can use for like accounts receivables too, that would apply for that. It's a little bit more difficult with the US government because they typically don't like the assignment clauses or the lockbox portion of it. Um, so it does become a little bit more difficult with that mechanism, which is why I would kind of advise more towards mobilization financing.
cool. Yeah, we'll figure that out too. We'll put some of that stuff together and you can help with that, Matt, for our portal. Kevin, do you have anything you want to close with? With SJ, and then we'll get ready to
Well,
go.
the thing of it is, when you get down to the end of the line, you have to have something, you have to have a vision that's beyond what people have been used to seeing, because this is really lofty. I've stated times before that, we're at the top of the food chain. This is what I'm talking about. And the only one that's really going to hold you back is yourself. If you have any kind of ambition, this is where you need to go. And you don't have to be afraid about getting there or what's going to happen, because there's very few people doing this now. This used to happen over in New York on Wall Street a lot. And since then, it's shrunken down to basically just a few players in this
Right.
market.
I mean,
yet the
this used
demand's
to
gone
be
up.
mainstay America finance, right? Like 30 years ago. I think
Yeah.
I think we're dating ourselves here with that one, Kevin.
Well, I don't really care. The whole point I'm trying to get at is there should be nothing holding anybody back from doing what they want to do here. Because with RCIC systems, with everybody that's already in here, the experience that's already been, that everybody's gone through, and then you add this to it, there's really nothing that you can't do anymore. There's no excuses. None. Okay. So if you've ever thought somebody's ever, has held you back in the past or anything like that, that's not going to happen here. And the other thing is, this is probably the best part. There aren't going to be any more scammers. And I know everybody's run into that. It's just not something that can happen in this kind of environment. So, I'm going to be available too to help in this because I'm having a lot, I'm working through a lot of stuff with these guys and the private money industry thing. This is the kind of level that we were talking about when we first got this started. So I have a lot of experience regarding that. My family's had a lot of experience regarding that. And if there's anything I can do to help guide you, I'm always available. I'm going to be working closely with these guys doing all these different things as it is. So, don't let anything stop you. Just go for it. I don't care. Just go for it.
And we'll get you in touch, with SJ and James, and they can, we wanted you guys to be able to build relationships with them as well. Like Kevin said, it's like you can do anything you want out there. You see anything, you guys focus on your real estate stuff, but you guys get a deal here and there, get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 deals like going at this, and you guys will set yourselves up and you'll make your real estate a lot, you can actually literally, you get more control when you have the kind of leverage you're going to have of doing these kind of deals. You're going to be able to bring a lot of resources, build your
And I mean, I think it's a good time to bring this up, guys. I mean, the broker that made, north of $5 million in one transaction this year had no experience in mining, right? None. Instead, he just chose to really work through it and learn. Did an absolute superb job and ended up making just a lot of money very young in his career. So, without experience, right? That's the thing, guys, is it, don't necessarily let the experience factor push you away. Bring it up to Nate, bring it up to Kevin, bring it up to Jesse. Let these guys kick it around. Let's all try to figure something out. I've got a myriad of sources that I can help these guys with too, and put into the systems, the RCIC systems and Capital Passport and things like that. So I think more or less, just give it a try. Give it your best effort. And if you stay honest, and most importantly, honest with yourself, I think this could really be a good thing for everybody. Some of my biggest loans have come from people that you would never expect. So I never want to close the door. My door is always open. And, we just look forward to working with you guys, here through the rest of 2026 and the future, good things to come, as we all grow together.
Cool. All right. Definitely, guys, appreciate your joining us tonight, SJ. Thank you, and James. Definitely looking forward to building a relationship and definitely connecting everyone. I think we've got 200 people in the group, and I know there are 7 people that told me they weren't going to make it. Most of them had plans before, for obviously for the holiday. So we'll probably try to do this like maybe once a month or something. Just try to build up the relationships because, this is going to be a great opportunity. You can activate, as early as tomorrow. Just know that I'll probably be working on the training portion of the GPT probably next week. and then that'll be ready. As I do, you guys know, everyone in the group knows I'm transparent. I put stuff out there in the group every day for you guys. So definitely don't, take advantage if you want to check out their websites. Let me know. We have a civil link of metals, and there's some other website, stuff that I can give you guys that SJ sent me, to make sure that you guys have it. We're totally going to be an open book and open and transparent, because it helps them, it helps you guys, and then we're there to help, kind of do it like Kevin and Jesse and Paul and I can kind of help you guys in the middle, kind of making sure that you still got time to do your stuff, and we can kind of facilitate, getting the stuff to them that they require. And that's going to help everybody. Guys, this is just a total group effort and team effort, and it's going to help everybody. There's nobody in our group that can't benefit from this. So I appreciate everybody's time, and SJ and James, I appreciate your time. So obviously great reconnecting a couple of weeks ago. So
Yes, thank you very much, Nate, and thank you for having us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with everybody, and we certainly look forward to lining this up again.
yeah, and I'll reach out to you guys in the morning about trying to get that presentation out, so we can get that to everybody.
Of course, feel free to distribute it, and I'll send you the Google link, and that might help with
Yeah,
your.
that was the hang up, and it just may be a technical thing, and I'm usually good about fixing it, but I didn't so I'm glad we're able to kind of wing it. We're kind of
I normally use Google for this stuff, so Zoom I have it, and then I use Teams. Microsoft Teams is real big. I haven't really been as practiced with the Zoom. I need to do it because it looks wonderful. But I've spent majority of the meeting clicking on what is an image of your screen, which I've now figured out.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously everybody got good at Zoom during COVID, but yeah, there's some stuff I haven't explored in it yet, and that's why I still have some technical. I don't like to deviate right now. Like I want, I try not to deviate in a session, because we've had a few hiccups once in a while. But yeah, and our group's really good. I mean, that's why we keep it casual. Like people are used to me having to the little glitches. I'm always open. Hey guys, I gotta do this. I gotta stop share, reshare. So I've kind of learned how to use it. I probably should spend a lot more time looking at other, it's just like learning AI. I mean, but this is but in August, our first week in August, we've done 100 Zooms in the last year just on RCIC. That's not even including the other 200 something that we've done since 2020, 22. We've done almost 300 something Zooms. So, I just think it's important to keep it casual, because people are people got their lives and they got their real
we worked with a couple of other family offices, and we actually developed a hybrid quantum system.
Yeah.
And it's really, really, really different than the LLM models that they have out there. The accuracy is just, totally outside of the range of the normal LLM operating systems. So I'm familiar, AI development these days, I think is definitely tip of the spear. It's something I do in my personal time. It's actually called Quanta. She named herself. So yeah. And we got past the hallucination issue by treating the hallucination issue as dreams, right? And in order to achieve a hybrid digital quantum format, we're using holographic memory.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'll look more into that too. I try to keep it also like what we've done, because we still have a lot of people that are, 200 people in the group. We probably have about 50 using AI, and I'm trying every month, a couple more people come on board with it as they find out. We haven't had any hallucinations on our system. And I think because I've pretty much put a lot of my databases and all my library in there to train it. And I think we're doing really good. We had somebody who actually ran it conventionally against their manual underwriting, and they said we were within 97%, that it was 97% accurate. So like anything that I come back with to people that I tell people to promote it is what I'm getting from our people that are using it. And I want to teach them more about what I'm doing, but I try to understand that somebody may be using AI for the first time on their program. Because I've asked OpenAI.
Well, basically our neural node set is set to 5,024 times 5,024. Your average LLM is operating on 512 times 512. So that's the difference. And we basically maximized what you can do digitally with the current hardware.
Okay, about that, because I'm interested in that. I just gotta make sure
Need
that,
quantum chips.
anything that I introduce to the group, I think people gotta be.
Oh, you know what, gentlemen? I'm afraid I have this
No,
next.
no problem. Usually go an
Thank
hour,
you
so we're great.
very much.
I appreciate it, man. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Everyone else, I'll get this recording to you guys tomorrow. So if you want to go back through it, and if you guys want to get set up, let me know. And then anything on RCIC on the real estate side, let us know as well. We'll get you guys taken care of. So I'm gonna stop share. Yeah, guys, anybody reach out to me, I'll get you set up. Let me stop the recording.